.org.za. And the membership for a year is 250 Rand. And what that gets you is one of these, if you wouldn't mind just holding it up. Thanks. So it gets you a personalized young aviator safety vest, because everyone at airports always needs a safety vest. What you also get by signing up is an electronic loyalty card. And so you get different discounts to different aviation stores. So Pilot Insure is one of them, Flying Socks, Wing Culture, Aeroversity. I'm trying to think of all the others, Infinite Aviation. There's a lot of there's probably about 10 or 11 different companies within aviation that have partnered with us to actually give discounts to all of our young aviators. So upon sign up, you get a personalized safety vest, an electronic loyalty card, and then you also get added to a WhatsApp community group chat, which will then just allow you to ask questions if you need help with an exam. Oh, sorry, that was very loud. With an exam, or if you need to go to a fly-in, if somebody has space, you can say, hey guys, does anyone have space for me? You know, I need a seat in a plane. It's just a way to network and actually make friends outside of a school or work environment. So that's the goal. Anyone is welcome, whether you're a member or non-member, to any of the future events. Please feel free to join us. We welcome everyone who's new. And yeah, we just want to make friends and meet new people. So yeah, thank you so much, Dave, for letting me collaborate with you today, and I really appreciate it. So yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tyler. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, Tyler. And yeah, starting the network and community culture nice and early, and building that stronger aviation culture, industry community. You call it. It's beautiful. I love it. All right. We are going to talk about Pilot Insure and who I am and what I do for a day job. It's very, 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 very interesting. And I'm the only financial advisor in the country who gets to spend most of my time at airports and gets to go flying with my clients and gets to love aviation and do awesome things like this. So if you're a financial advisor, don't do it. It's terrible. It's really bad. No, I honestly, I love what I do. And I've been in aviation-related insurance for 18 years now, as you can see. And I spent 10 years insuring aircraft all around Africa, South Africa, in fact, the world. You know, any type of airplane you can think of, I've probably insured one. And then I transitioned into the long-term insurance, which is the financial planning, which is insurance, investment planning, retirement planning, all that kind of thing. And while insuring aircraft was awesome, insuring people and ensuring financial success and ensuring people's security as a family is just so much more rewarding. And that's why I haven't even wavered for the last eight and a half years of being with Pilot Insure and becoming a partner and becoming just, you know, really entrenched in that side of things. Like, I just have not wavered. It's just been such an engaging and rewarding journey for myself. And I get to do things like this. And I mean, look at the, anyway, I'm just really having fun, okay? But it's really rewarding is the point. And why it's rewarding is because I help people chart a course. Everybody's where we are today, okay? And everybody needs to get to a point. Everybody's got a goal of where they want to be someday, okay? And there's a journey between now and that goal. There's a timeline and there's a trajectory of hopefully self-improvement and generating more value and saving some money and becoming better and all those different things. And if you can imagine a little graph starting here and now today, and I get to speak to a pilot and a person and an aviator, not engineers, jokes, engineers included as well. Engineers, because pilots need heroes too, correct? So we're all starting here, and I get to help someone chart that path. And some people have definitely already figured it out, and they've got it all on a spreadsheet, and it's working. Great. And then I can look at your spreadsheet, tell you where you're going wrong, because you probably know you're not. I can tell you how to improve a little bit. And if not, I'll tell you this is a fantastic spreadsheet, and I'll ask you for a copy so I can use it for my clients, you know. So but the point is, I get to speak to people, and some people haven't even thought about it. And those are almost more the most rewarding clients to speak to, is because when they finish a meeting with me and they're like, I just feel so relieved. I can now see the path. I can there's an outcome. This is so great, and that for me is like super. I'm going to say it again, rewarding, and. Working and saving money and building a retirement plan and an estate plan and all those investments and offshore and blah, 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 blah. It's all fantastic and super necessary. But what happens if you can't work? All right? The little path that started from down here and went to go all the way up to here, where you want to be in retirement or before that, you're getting halfway and something happens over here. And I can tell you that trajectory from here to here changes very quickly. You either have to settle for something lower than where you want it to be, or even lower than where you are currently. This graph can do one of those. And that's where the importance of life and disability insurance comes into it, because while we can't give you back your flying career, we can give you back the financial stability and the financial growth that you were planning on having over this term. And we give you the tools and the finances. Let's say something happens and it's a temporary medical invalidation. You've got a chronic ear infection and you can't work for 14 months. This thing keeps coming back. You can't fly as a commercial pilot. We've got a product that will actually pay your salary while you're not flying. So especially if you don't have a group insurance from a big airline, and most big airlines actually don't even have them anymore, we can give you something that will pay your salary while you're recovering from this ear infection along that 14-month timeline, let's say. And then the ideal situation is your ear infection goes away, you recover, you get your medical back, and you can go fly again. Perfect. Less ideal. The dame says to you, sorry, this ear infection that you had has now become a neurological issue in the brain, and you're never getting your medical back. That's probably the most scary thing I think I've said tonight and that you've heard all week. Am I right? I mean, Cyril Ramaphosa spoke earlier this week, but I'm sure this was more scary, right? That's when insurance becomes the most important thing. And again, like Keegan was saying, rather have your safety toolbox set up already and not have to divert or be able to have to look for tools to be able to sort yourself out once that's already happened. And so what we do as Pilot Insure, and what our call to arms and our piece de resistance is the loss of license insurance that we do very well. I don't know anyone that can do it as well as me. Maybe France, my business partner in Cape Town. Shout out France Smith. But I don't think there's anyone else that can do it better than us. And I mean, I'm not even just saying that. I've been doing it I've spoken to 2,000 pilots in my time. And so, I don't mean to brag, sorry. What I'm trying to say is that at that point of permanent invalidation of your medical, we can then, the product that you should have, the insurance policy should pay you a nice big fat lump sum of money to take care of big capital expenses. Becoming disabled and losing your medical permanently is not a cheap exercise. You need to reinvent yourself in some way. Maybe you are disabled and maybe you need a wheelchair conversion on your car. All those horrible things can happen. So here's all the money. You can just have it. Thank you. And we'll pay your salary every month until you turn 65. At the very least, we'll top you up to whatever you were earning before, and that increase that every single year with inflation until age 65. Guess how much? Who's seen a guy called Money Munya on Instagram or TikTok? He's a vivacious not white, South African, awesome financial planner in Cape Town. Him and I are very good friends, and he does an amazing job. And he does these questions he questions people. He says, imagine you contributed $100 a month towards a tax-free savings account, and for 30 years, and you saved it till age 65, and people guess how much it is. And they're like 30 million, and it's not. It's like, it turns out to be like hundreds of millions. But my question to you is, do you know how much 50,000 Rand a month is from the age of 35, increasing at inflation to age 65? Who can give me like a wild guess of how much that is? Like if you had to add up all those paychecks in, 30 years. 30 years earning 50,000 Rand a month, plus inflation every year.
18 billion straight plus inflation compound.
Exactly. So 18 million would just be if it was 50 grand a month for the rest of those 12 packages, paychecks. Absolutely right. With interest, 75 million. Okay. So if you're 35 and you're earning 50 grand a month and you've got 30 years to go, your paychecks and your current medical is worth 75 million rand to you right now. Okay. And I can work out what the different numbers are if you can give them to me versus age, etc., etc. Anyway, the beautiful thing about loss of license insurance is that that's what we insure. We're able to pay that out so that you can then have the structure in your life to be able to reinvent yourself and get to that point. So have the little hiccup over here. Yes, it's devastating to not ever be able to fly commercially again, but I can tell you what, we're going to give you the tools to be able to get there anyway financially. And that's what I love about Pilot Insure. The call to action there is, speak to me if you want to learn more about your loss of license. If you're a private pilot, we also do, I can get into that as well, but come and chat to me. But commercially, that's what we do. So please come and chat to me. You know where I am. You've got my number. I'm sure you've seen me on Facebook, Instagram, not TikTok. I'm not that young, unfortunately. I'm still a zillennial. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening to me and listening to the message. I would like to hand over to JJ. JJ is going to give us a presentation about himself as a private aviator, how he got to where he is, and some of the safety stuff that he employs and the success factors that he's employed into his life and to becoming the person that he is. And I'd just like to say thank you again to JJ for being one of our main sponsors here tonight and giving us all this awesome stuff. JJ, big round of applause, everyone.
Thank you very much. So just to reiterate what David said earlier on, so I'm a general aviation pilot. That's a hobby. I'm in IT full-time, taking care of small businesses. And a couple of years ago, I was sitting actually at a young aviators event at Wonderboom, and I actually thought Pilot Insure was only looking after commercial pilots. And David started chatting to me, and I realized, but he's actually doing a lot more than that. And as of then already, we restructured my whole portfolio, and I'm now fully insured with Pilot Insure. So what the previous speaker was also saying is that you want to make sure that when you fly, that you can take care of your family. So if anything does happen to me while I'm flying, I know I can rest assured my family is taken care of. As a main breadwinner, that is very important to your family as well. Make sure that they're taken care of too. The safety aspect of aviation is extremely important. So I can tell you all kinds of things through my 400 odd hours of flying general aviation, where very early in my flying career, you make stupid mistakes. You get getitis. Doesn't matter what I'm going to fly. You plan to go for a flight with your instructor, but you get to the airfield and you see that this windsock is sitting 90 degrees and it's probably pumping 50 kilometers an hour winds. You know you should not be flying then. But you've got this urge because I want to fly, I've planned to fly, I've come to fly, I've done all this way. And I used to travel 70 kilometers to get to the airfield. So I really wanted to fly when I get there. You don't want to turn around and waste that hour and a half that you were driving there. But fortunately, realizing that you're not just flying for yourself, you're flying for your family, you're flying for your friends, your parents. So your own safety impacts them as well. So make sure that you take all these things that are being said tonight to heart and learn from it. So part of what we do in business is we set up our business and we get going. We don't stop, we just try and make ends meet at the end of the month, we try and grow the business. The problem with that is we don't do a pre-flight. So in aviation, every time you get to your airplane, you do a pre-flight. So you make sure the tires are pumped, the fuel is in, oil is checked, you do a walk around, you check your instruments, you go through your startup processes. So why don't we do that in business? We should be doing that in business. Doing those checks makes sure that we have a safe flight. Doing those checks in business will allow us to make sure that our business is continuing. What are the threats that we face in aviation? You're busy flying along, your engine suddenly stops. So think of the devastating effect that that would have on you. The first thing that you think is, oh, what the hell now? And then your training kicks in. And I've had an engine failure while I was flying, and the training does kick in. It's absolutely amazing when you start thinking about it afterwards and you realize that, wow, I actually was paying attention, and the brain has caught up and I'm actually doing what I was supposed to. And you've got a safe landing and everything's good afterwards. So in business, what is the big thing that would affect you? Is there anyone running a business here or anyone in business that can say to me, this item specifically will devastate my company? Anyone? Okay, what in IT? So someone hacks into your system. All right, what do? They steal your information. They encrypt your information. They make sure that they cripple your business. So part of our pre-flight is we make sure that they can't do that. And if they do that, like if we have an engine failure, that we can recover from that. If your accounting system goes down, if your telephone system goes down, if your email system goes down, if your documents go down, get lost, get encrypted, if your laptop gets stolen, a reality is you travel with your laptop in your car, you stop somewhere, you quickly go out to the shops. When you come back, either your car's gone or your laptop's gone. How do you recover from that? And then we've got all the other things about, what about Poppy? How did I protect the information that's on there so that no one else can use my customers' information to infiltrate their systems or my system? So those type of things are the things that we at Personal Systems look after. So we try and do a pre-flight on your business, same as what you do in aviation. We apply the same principles to there to make sure that your business can do business safely. Not just to protect your information, but whoever you're communicating to as well. Because chances are if you get infiltrated, whatever communication you are sending out is also going to try and infiltrate whoever you are doing business with. So the knock-on effect is massive. So if you've got any concerns about any of those type of things, come and talk to us and we can help you out with that. So that's the one thing that I want to talk to you about. The second thing is, do you want to give back to aviation? Yes. I'm very passionate about aviation, and I'm passionate about getting young people involved. So my kids are part of the Young Aviators, and it's doing brilliantly. I'm part of the EAA. I love it. There's always someone that knows more than you. You always learn, and you always connect, and you can always find an answer. So what we can't do today is we can't get on a bicycle, drive to an airfield, and interact with whoever's busy with airplanes. We used to be able to do that 20, 30, 40 years ago. It was safe for us to do that. Today we can't. The airfield is locked. The roads are too busy. It's too dangerous. So how do young people at school level gain access to aviation? Unless they know someone at the moment, there's no chance. So what I've done is I've started with a youth aviation network. It's an initiative to try and get school-going kids that's keen on aviation involved with aviation, so that they have somewhere to go, that they have mentors that they can communicate with, and that they can find their journey into the next level, which would be young aviators with general aviation, the EAA, and whoever knows, commercial pilots and whatever. So we've started this with Pilot Insure about 2 years ago, I think now, and it's still growing. There's a lot that's happening in the back end. We hosted an event at Baragwanath Airfield a couple of months ago, where we had 10 youngsters that even their parents got time to fly. The idea about this is not that you rock up and you're going to fly. The idea about this is that if you're keen on aviation, you'll do the groundwork. You're going to help clean hangars. You're going to help wash airplanes. But during that time, and this is where the real value lies, is you'll be able to talk to the pilot about this airplane, about his experience. So there's the knowledge that's going to be transferred. So what are we trying to achieve at the end of the day? Who's going to be involved? So we're looking at youngsters from the age of 13 and up, in a school, in a flying school, someone that you know that would be really keen and just needs that gap, that exposure at the end of the day. We also need businesses. I can't do this on my own. Not even, David's a big guy, and he's a strong guy, but he and I are still too small to do this. We need people in the industry to partner with us. And I'm very happy to say that for quite some time now already, ExecuJet have partnered with us, making their facilities available, financially assisting us as well. So look at the space going forward. Some big things are coming. And then obviously we need enthusiasts like yourself. Connect them with whoever you know that needs that gap with us. But we also need you, your experience, your aeroplane, your time. What are we looking at doing? We want to basically teach the flying basics. Take a PPL, water it down, and start transferring that knowledge. Teach the kids about weather. Who these days know about clouds and the weather systems and those type of things? It's things that don't properly get taught in school anymore. Teach them our experiences. My one experience, I got my light sport aeroplane license. I was flying from Krugersdorp to Nigel. One morning, early 7 o'clock, I take off, I've checked the weather. And as I'm flying along, I see the weather there, Baragwanath side, south of Joburg past here, is not going the direction I was thinking it was going. By the time I arrived in Nigel, instead of the wind blowing into a southerly direction, it was blowing in a northerly direction. That weather was on top of me. And for some reason, I read it wrong. So I can take that experience, I can hand it down to someone and say, be careful, make sure, double check, ask, and so forth. So these days, what have I learned from doing that? If I do a long trip, I use Easy Plan, Easy Cockpit, fantastic software, has all the local airfields and all the local contacts on there. Phone those people on your route as your alternatives, for instance, and say to them, how's the weather there? Can I phone you? I'm planning a trip next week. Would you mind? We'll start building that network. We did a trip to Uppington. From here to Uppington with a little jabby, 4.5 hours, 880 kilometers by car. It's a long distance. By the time you take off here and the weather was great in Uppington, at that stage it might not be the same. But during your flight, you can actually reconnect with those people and double check it. Because they are there, they can actually use their eyes and their senses to tell you. So let's teach these youngsters about those experiences that we've had so that they don't have to make the same mistakes. Involve the youth in flying events. So Pilot Insure put up a fantastic display at the Pretoria Fierce. If we take these youngsters and we teach them how to do these type of things, we get them qualified as marshals. They're involved. They have some worth to themselves, and they network with other people in the industry. And like I said, wash aeroplanes, clean hangars, teach them about tools and how to use them. How many of you sitting here have held a drill and know that the drill has got a forward and a reverse? Who knows that you've got different drill bits for different things that you're drilling into? Very few, because that skill is not being taught to our kids anymore. I was taught that by my father, but unfortunately we all don't have that privilege. So this environment will be able to do that, and in doing so we'll be able to get eventually to build an aeroplane. That's the goal. Start somewhere, teach them the skills, start building an aeroplane that they can actually see from zero to finish that they were involved in, that it give them something worth as well. And then obviously we'll get guest speakers to come and talk to them, people in the industry. If, for instance, they want to, everyone thinks that being involved in aviation is just being a pilot, but there's so much more. I mean, there's ATNS. We all know what the situation is that we have with our traffic controllers at the moment. We need new traffic controllers. We need mechanics. We need people involved in the processes behind the scenes to get these aircraft in the air. So all of these gears we can get in place, and we can get them to assist us in educating these youngsters. So taking all of that into account, we're going to show you now just a quick video of how your business can be affected by not looking after your business the same as what you do with airplanes. And I'll hand over to Rudy.
Yep. Thanks, JJ. I'm not sure if it's okay for me to say I'm not a pilot. So what we do is we're cloud specialists, so we put your data in the cloud. Basically what it means is there's always an air gap between your data where it is now versus where it's backed up. So the most critical part is, like I think you said, you know, your biggest risk is ransomware. You know, just some interesting facts coming out of the industry that when you get attacked, sounds weird, when you get attacked, that bad actor has been sitting in your device for, on average, 128 days. Right, so it's not on the same day. It collects the data and it will attack when it sees it fit. And you know, we've seen examples where guys' bank accounts is wiped out the next day. Right, so any protection from your laptop to your server to long-term storage, we do it all in the cloud. I'm not going to bore you with IT slides because you know you're here for a pilot event. So we're just going to show you a quick video just to highlight the services that we have. If you have questions on your laptop, Office 365, server, all those funny stuff, we'll be outside and we can do it for you, or JJ and his team is more than competent to answer that as well. Thank you.
As South Africans, we're used to having backup, a plan B, a just in case, insurance, that added sense of security should we need it. We protect ourselves, our loved ones, our pets, our possessions, our privacy. But what about our data? The information in various forms of media
Just struggling with sound.
living
Is
inside
that?
how
Do we have a
many
feed
devices.
from the laptop? No, we
Who's
don't.
protecting
Okay.
that?
Stand by, everybody.
Because devices can break, be stolen, get lost or hacked. So many things. Think about it. Data is everywhere. As South Africans, we're used to having backup. A plan B, a just in case. Insurance, that added sense of security should we need it. We protect ourselves, our loved ones, our pets, our possessions, our
Let me
privacy.
quickly translate.
But what about our
So,
data?
In aviation, you've got a
Information
plan
in
A and a
various
plan
forms
B,
of
and
media
hopefully
we have
C,
living
D,
inside
and so
how many
forth, like we've
devices.
spoken before.
Who's
Your plan A is
protecting
everything
that?
goes according to plan. You've done your planning, you've done your due diligence, aircraft starts, fuel holds, weather's fantastic, flight goes according to plan. Along the way, something happens. You've got some of those berg winds that you showed us the graph of earlier on, which you didn't anticipate. You get smashed around that aircraft, you need a plan B. You need to turn around, you need to go land elsewhere. In our business, everything goes well, we do business, money comes in, money goes out, everything's fine. Someone sends you this funny email, and it looks like it's from your boss, but it actually isn't. And you don't pick up the little bit of telltale signs that something's going to go wrong when you click on this. Once you click on that, your data gets encrypted. Someone gets access to your email. They start sending out emails to your network, instructing them to maybe pay some money into a wrong account, or our bank details have changed, those type of things. These are realities that happen on a daily basis. Companies, huge companies with massive IT departments in South Africa in the last year have been hacked like this. So how do we protect you against that? Before this happens, we need to make sure that your systems are clean. We need to make sure that you've got the right protection, the right backups set up. These guys tend to infiltrate your system, and they sit there for 6 months before they actually trigger anything. So by that time, if you've done a backup to your USB drive 2 or 3 or 5 times, that whole backup means absolutely nothing. So what do you do now? It's too late. Yet, if you've come to us, Personal Systems, we've put in cloud backup solutions for you. We've copied that data. It's clean. You can use it to recover. Your accounting systems up and running. Your email systems are up and running. If you've lost data, you might have lost a day's worth of data. Any business will be happy to be able to recover from that. The problem comes in that if you need to go back 6 months, will your business survive? If you've got to go to a company and say, well, sorry, I actually don't know how much money you owe me because we've had this hack. Do you think they're going to be true with you to say, listen, according to their records, they owe you X, Y, Z? If that was to one customer or one company that you'd be dealing business with, great. You might be able to recover and say, well, let's just write it off and off we go. But imagine that happens to your whole database, everyone that you've done business with. And again, the knock-on effect is whoever else you have been communicating with. So by making sure that your plan B is in place, that your alternate airport is selected before you actually need it, gives you the peace of mind to be able to make sure that your business can carry on. If Pilot Insure lose their database of their customers, they will go down. If I lose my customer database and I can't say who owes me money, when, and how much, I will go down. If my systems get infiltrated and I start losing data and my customers can't rely on my reliability, it'll affect my business. I will go down. So making sure that the alternatives are set in place, and it's not a case of, okay, fine, it's now there. We set up reporting, so firstly, if any backup fails, we know about it instantly. Secondly, on a monthly basis, we set reports to our customers to make sure, have those backups actually worked? And we do an actual restore. Randomly select a file, we restore it and make sure that that backup is readable. So we know that in the event that anything goes wrong and we need to click on that plan B, it's easy. We've had to recover data for customers, and so far, thank goodness, we've had a 100% success rate. We've not had any issues with that. And that's my story. So I hope that we've inspired you to make sure that your plan B is in order, that your insurance is in order, and happy flying.
Excellent stuff. Thank you very much, JJ. And I think we can all agree many similarities between making sure your business is good and aviation and getting that plan B in place. Next up, the fun part of the evening. We have Taryn Myberg, everybody. Taryn is going to talk to us about competitive flying. And we're going to do a nav exercise, so we're going to immerse ourselves in proper aviation tonight. It's going to be really, really fun. And I'd just like to say that I've been part of the South African Powered Flying Association for a couple of years already, and we have a heck of a lot of fun doing competitive flying, speed rallies, president's trophies, all those kinds of fun things all around the country. And if you want to sharpen your axe and become a better pilot, come and join in. It's a heck of a lot of fun, I can tell you that much. Here we go, Taryn. I'm butchering it. She's going to do a much better job. Everybody, Taryn.
Thanks, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. I think most people that know me will know that I don't talk a lot. So I don't, unlike David, I don't have a microphone in my hand very often. The next question is, can you see me? The unfortunate truth is, if you can't see me, it's too bad. I've been trying to grow for the last 38 years and haven't been successful. Okay. Where do I point it? Oh, okay. Do that. Okay. So I'm going to start with a little bit of background about how I got here, why I'm here, and my passion for aviation came from my dad's passion for aviation from a very, very early age. My dad has always loved aviation. We spent, I don't know, every air show that was in the vicinity and some that weren't, we were there. And there you can see, that's my sister and I. It's a photo of a very old photo before we had camera phones. So that's what I looked like then, also tiny and much blonder. My dad never flew himself, but he worked on aircraft as a mechanic, including Harvard's, and a lot after that. Yeah, and that plane itself as well. But he hasn't worked in aviation for a very long time. And at age 14, my grandparents came out from the UK, and I told my granddad I want to be a pilot. And that resulted in my very first introductory flight from Rand Airport. And I loved it. It was fantastic. And my parents told me, first you need to finish school, you need to go to university and get a job. And if you want to fly, you need to do it yourself. And that was probably the last time I thought about it for a very long time. So I went to university and I studied geology. I still work as a consultant in the mining industry as a geologist. And like JJ, aviation is a hobby for me. I do this on the side. It takes up a lot of work time though, so I work for my husband, so don't tell him. Okay. I was fortunate enough as part of my work, we spent a lot of time traveling, mostly in Africa, but also into Asia, into Europe. I've traveled to more than 40 countries just for work. And a lot of these projects that we went to, they were extremely, extremely remote. So the only way to access them was by helicopter most of the time. This was my very first site visit, and that's with Ian, who I met at work. He's now my husband. That's us. We had 2 R44s that took us to site every day in the DRC. I was also fortunate enough in Benin. I still have no idea how the client arranged it, but we flew in a military Augusta from one end of Benin to the other on one of their training flights, and it was fascinating. We had headsets and I could listen in on them speaking French, but what exactly they were busy with. So okay. Here we go. It wasn't always fun though. My colleague on that trip got violently ill, and there was nothing we could do. We landed in the field, and that's how it was for the rest of the day. The last trip that really, really stands out in my mind was the trip to Kazakhstan, where we flew in this Mi-8, which was really an amazing experience, flying over the desert for hours and hours and looking at camels. And it's so cold. It doesn't look cold there, but it's so cold that your phone or your camera, you can take a picture and then you have to warm it up because the battery stops working. So these trips reminded me of my passion, my aspirations to become a pilot. And so I started my PPL in 2014. And I started flying with Mark Lulow of the EAA. I started at Circus Airfield. I finished at JFA at Panorama because they had an incident with the aircraft, so it was out of commission. That set me back a few months, and then also I was trying to fit it in around work, around finances, around weather, around driving from Sandton to Panorama to fit it in between work and traveling. And so it took me nearly 5 years to get my PPL. So if your PPL is taking you really long, don't panic, you can still do it. The aviation very, very quickly bit Ian as well. He comes from a family that's not involved in aviation, and we got married in a hangar at Tedder Field, and I flew in a sling, which was awesome. And then in March 2020, not long after I got my license, he talked me into buying my first aeroplane, a Jabiru SP470. And the registration is Bravo Sierra Alpha BSA, and you can see the plane and me and Ian are all tiny, so it's nicknamed Bonsai. And COVID-19 meant that we spent a lot of months with our brand new aircraft not being able to fly. But that didn't stop us, because every single weekend that we were allowed, we were at the airfield anyway, and we washed the plane, and we swept the hangar, and when we were allowed to, taxied up and down for maintenance purposes. And as soon as we were allowed to fly solo in the circuit, I was there. I think it was actually great for me because it meant there was a lot of hours where I was a brand new PPL and I wasn't really allowed to take passengers or go to fancy airfields. So I spent my weekends flying circuits at Brakpan. But most importantly, it meant that we met the neighbors at the airfield. We were there every weekend, so we met Marius next door with his fleet of microlights, and we met John T. And John T soon convinced us that we need to come and join this fun event called an ANR, or an Air Navigation Rally, and it was going to be hosted at Brakpan. So an ANR is a corridor race. It's not a race, it's a rally. You need to fly, they give you a map that looks a bit like this, and you need to stay inside the corridor. So it's normally about 0.4 nautical miles wide, and the start and the finish are sometimes timed. If it's a fun event, they might not be, and if it's a serious event, they are. So you choose a speed, and you need to start and finish at a particular time. And you get penalized for every second that you spend outside of the corridor. This was our route, so you can see, hopefully, on there that we spent a lot of time not in the corridor. We were near it, we were in the vicinity, but we were not in the corridor. So it was extremely, extremely windy. It was the first time I'd ever tried to fly in stronger wind than what I did my training in. And it was hectic, because suddenly we're flying with 10 other people, and we're taking off at a specific time. And we need to fly in a specific place and on a map, not an aviation map, a topographic map. But we met a bunch of really nice people, and we learned a lot, and we just had to try again. So next on the calendar was a speed rally at Secunda Airfield, and this sounded like a very serious thing. Like, speed rallies are for experienced pilots with fast planes. Like, if you're not flying a Cirrus or an RV, then this isn't the event for you. But we soon found out this is not the case. The speed rallies are a uniquely South African event. It was actually built by Rob and John T. And the idea is that most things like rallies don't cater for fast aircraft. They cater for, I wouldn't say slow aircraft either. They cater for a very specific field of aircraft. And a speed rally is designed to cater for everyone. If you're flying something really fast or really slow, we can both participate in the same event on a level playing field. So you can see everybody, even a helicopter, a gyrocopter, twin aircraft, bush planes, vintage planes, and Jabiroos can participate. And here you can see we have a Harvard, an RV, and there's a helicopter there in the background. And the format is really simple. You get given a handicap speed that's based on your plane, and you get given the map. All of the information is on there. You have routes, the route and your headings already on the map. You also get turn point photos. So when you get close to where you need to turn, you have a photo. And the idea is to fly as close to your handicap speed as possible. But the more accurately fly, the better you'll do. The shorter the route that you fly, the faster you'll do the route, right? And the easiest way to do that is to fly in a straight line. And that doesn't just mean this way, that means this way as well. So my first speed rally at Secunda Airfield was the first time I really flew to a new airfield after getting my PPR. And once there, I had to fly with another pilot for the first time since getting my PPL as well. I had to fly a handicap speed test to get my handicap speed, and I flew it with Mark Clulo, who was my very first instructor. And at the time it felt like a huge deal, like fly with another pilot, maybe you make a mistake and they think you're an idiot, or but I flew with him and it was great. The next day at the event, just before takeoff, Ian's microphone on his headset stopped working. So we flew the whole route with me not be able to hear him. So it was very much like, and shouting. But we made it. We dealt with the situation and we made it. Our second speed rally was at Woodbank Airfield. And on the way back, we had to divert. There was bad weather over Brakpan, and we had to make a decision, and we landed at Bobsfontein Airfield. Somewhere I've never been, never heard of it before. We were just in the vicinity, and I said, this is it, we're going to land here. Once we landed there, we met some wonderful people. They took us into the hangar, and they said, welcome, have some tea and coffee. If you need to stay the night, you come home with us. On our third speed rally, my radio stopped working entirely. So what the point that I'm making is all of these situations were very, very stressful at the time. But you learn a massive amount from each one, and not just from yourself. You're with a whole bunch of other people. They can say, have you tried this? Is there something you can do? Just try and land here, we'll help you. The next event on the calendar was spot landings. And again, this felt like a big leap. And I think spot landings scare a lot of people. But Jonty took me and a few other new pilots under his wing, and he said, let's go, we'll set up a training session, we'll all fly together, and we'll learn from each other. And that's what we did. And I think on that single day, I did 40 landings. Just one day, flying circuits. We'd all fly together, land, and we'll say, okay, how did it go? What do we need to improve? Do you need to fly slower? Is your circuit in the right place? And so we all got opportunity to learn from each other. I would have preferred not to learn while everybody is watching, but it puts you in the situation. You learn with everybody. Nobody feels like you're a sore thumb. And a spot landing competition, and I'll talk more about this a bit later, but the intention is to improve your skills under a high-stress landing situation, such as an engine failure or an electronics failure. So we do 3 or 4 landings, depending if you want to do the fun or the open class. The first landing is a power-on landing. Well, it's a pilot's discretion. You can use power, you can use flaps, you can use anything at your disposal. It's just a normal landing. The second landing is a glide approach. So when you are on your downwind, you come in line with the threshold or your landing line, you pull your throttle back to idle, and you land. It's a simulated engine failure. You can use flaps. The third landing is also a glide approach, but no flaps are allowed. So you're simulating your electronics failure on top of your engine failure. The last landing is an optional landing. It's for the open class, but it's landing over a 2-meter tall obstacle that's 50 meters before the landing line. It feels like a hectic thing, but you're nowhere near that. If you are near that, you're too low. It's all in your head. So it's a really, really valuable way of, when you are landing in a field, know, are you going to make it over that tree or that fence? And it's just people holding some flags on a pole, so if you are too low, they just drop the flags, and it's not a big deal. And this is what the landing box looks like. So the idea is to land on a 2 meter wide bingo line. If you land on that line, you get 0 points. And like everything in competition flying, the further away you are from that goal, the more penalty points you get. So you get penalty points for landing after it, 10, 20, 30 points for every 5 meters that you land after the line. But you can see that you're penalized much heavier if you land before the line. Because if you are in an emergency situation, if you land too short, that can be very serious. Now you've landed on that tree or that fence. And that's why the penalties are higher for a short landing. The spot landings are a really, really great way to improve your landing skills in that setting with a lot of camaraderie. You fly with other people in the circuit. Everybody gets informal feedback, and you can listen to people's advice or you can ignore it. You know, you need to take on board what is suitable for you and your plane. I get a lot of advice from people that don't fly Jabiroos on how to land when they fly a Cessna. It's not the same thing. So you listen to what they do, how they approach the situation, and you take on board what will work for you and your aircraft. And nobody feels out. So you can see here, even in the competition, you can always go around. Pete became known for going around. I've gone around in competitions more than once as well. Sometimes it doesn't go the way you planned. And then this was also my first competition, and you can see there, the green is the altitude, and the red is my heart rate. So you can see every time I get close to the landing line, my heart rate goes. So all of these led us to rally flying, which is what Ian and I are really, really passionate about. We feel that this is the ultimate test for us, and we really enjoy it. It's a 2-crew operation, and you're testing plotting, observation, timing, and landing. So we have a pilot and a navigator, and I'll show you when we do our navigation exercise just now that the term navigator is maybe not the right term, but the route is flown at a nominated ground speed. So depending on your aircraft, you will choose a ground speed. You say a little bit slower than you would normally fly because you want to be able to speed up if there's a headwind, and you want to be able to slow down if there's a tailwind. The navigator gets a clue sheet, and he needs to prepare the map, and he gets a certain time that he's allowed to do that in. And then on the route while you're flying, you need to locate en route photos as well. There might be ground markers, and identify the turn point photos as true or false. They might be incorrect. And then the part of it as well is flying over every turn point at an exact time. So they say you need to fly over this at 17 minutes and 17 seconds. That's what you're aiming for. You've got a 2-second window either way before you start getting penalty points. When we first started, that felt massive. If we, the window's 30 seconds before you get max penalties. If we got within 30 seconds, we felt like it was a miracle. Like, how did we get this right? It was a massive achievement. And it just really teaches you how to know exactly where you are and what you want from the plane at every second that you're flying. And then you finish with a landing. It's a scored landing, but any configuration, a power-on landing. And the fun class is a really fun introduction into rally flying if the full thing seems too intimidating. So this is a real example of what you get. You get a task sheet or a clue sheet. The navigator gets this, and then you prepare your own map. So this is actually the clue sheet for this map. So you can see turn point 3 is a dam wall, and that's the dam over there. And it's got a time next to it that I'm trying to achieve. So once this is done, I get the map as the pilot. I need to know where we are and when we need to be there. So our first rally competition ever was the Rand Challenge in February 2021, and it was a bit of a disaster. It was the first time we'd ever flown a competition in a rally, and Ian was still plotting after takeoff. He got horribly airsick. I still hadn't learned how to navigate on my own, so we spent probably an hour flying around where I was never quite sure where I was, and he couldn't help me, because every time he tried to look at something, he just went white. We eventually landed back here and figured out that we never turned the loggers on. So, so I think it's a good thing no one will ever know how badly it went. But at that time, the South African Power Flying Association were preparing for the World Championships, and they were going to be held in South Africa. And they welcomed us, and all of the new pilots. They said, come and learn with us, come and train with us while we're busy. And so we took that on board, and we flew to Stellenbosch to take part in the first ever Rally Nationals in 2021. That would be our second rally competition. And that's us at Stellenbosch Airfield. It also didn't go very well. It's also where I learned where my wind limit is, and not to listen to other pilots when they tell you that the weather is fine. So in that process, the community welcomed us. They shared their time. They shared their tools, the learnings that they've had. Everybody has made, not mistakes, but you've made errors, you've scored penalty points somewhere, and you can show somebody else, we've done this, don't do this. But at that, COVID already led to a postponement of the World Championships from 2020 to 2021. And then it led to another postponement from 2021 to 2022, and a change of venue. It was going to originally be held in Stellenbosch, but it moved to Brits, and that's how we got to Brits 2022 World Championships. And that was, again, a huge advantage for us, because it gave us 2 years where we could train with people that have been doing this for many, many years. And we could improve, and we could learn from some of the best pilots and navigators in the country. We got our Aero Club colours at the Brits Rally Nationals in 2021, so we didn't qualify for the team, but we could have participated under the Aero Club. And we finally qualified for the South African team in 2022. And I think we took a few people by surprise, because in the past that wasn't a possibility. It took people 10 years to get to that point. But the entire community had changed. It became a team effort. How do we learn together as a team and improve as South Africa, rather than how do we improve as Taryn and Ian and become the best pilot in the country? And that was a massive, massive change, and it was really, really beneficial to us. And that's what Ian and I want to share with everybody when we do our events. So this is us then at the World Championships in 2022 at Brits. And you can see in there our rally setup, so how we personally set up our photos on the in our plane. And us at the opening ceremony, where we got our Protea colours. So because of all of the postponements, the next World Championships had already been planned for France in 2023. And so we were fortunate enough, we had been practicing, we had just participated in the World Championships, and we could continue that practice and qualify to go to France as part of the South African team. And so then this is us flying a practice route in France. You can see a similar setup, but in a hire and fly Cessna. That's the airfield that we were based at in Macon in France. And after the last day of flying, we always have an international evening. So everybody shares local food or drinks from their country, and you all have a big social event. And this is also where we met all sorts of teams from other countries. And there's some very serious countries out there, but there's some that are also really, really friendly and inviting, and we've made friends with people from across the world now. We share tools with them, and they share their tools and their skills with us. And it's just a wonderful community. And if you told me when I got my PPL that I would be flying in France, I would have said, I think you might have fallen on your head. But here we are. And in a month's time, Ian and I will be going to Italy for this year's World Championships.
Taryn, nicer clippies on the table, eh? That must have given you knowledge.
I think maybe taking Brandy to France wasn't the best idea. But anyway, they have their own Brandy. Okay, so I want to do a little with that introduction into rally flying and all of that, what we do. A short navigation challenge. So we went and flew a little route from Airspan, and I have the GoPro at the bottom of the plane. So we've got a whole series of maps and photos, and the route is on there. So you need to find yourself a team, probably 5 or so people or more, and you each get a map and 2 photos, sheets of photos, so 2 pages of photos. What I suggest is you have at least 1, but possibly 2 people whose job is to make sure they know where you are on the map while we fly. Then the rest of you divide the photos up between yourselves and try to memorize them in the time you have, and then see if you can spot them while we're flying. And don't shout out the letter. You need to mark it on the map where you are, and don't shout out the letter because then other teams know where you saw it. Okay.
So everyone needs to break up into teams. Okay, so everyone break yourselves up into teams of 5 or more. Who's 5, 5, 5? So make sure you've got a team of 5 at least. All right. And then come and grab a map from Taryn over there. Taryn, I think just put 10 over there, and then 10 over there, and 10 over there. All right, so you'll have a pack. All right. So what needs to be in your pack? You should have a map and some photographs, basically. Yeah. All right. Have you got some? And if your cell phone's feeling a bit flat, there's chargers on the table. Power yourselves up. There's some power banks there, courtesy of Personal Systems. Thank you again, JJ. And if you need light, obviously you're going to want to shine your torch on it, and you can charge your phone using that. Just watch the movie. Hey? What's that? I want this. What are you talking about? Really?
Is it expensive? Who's it? Who? The backup guys gave it to us. Damn it, Ginger. Who's that?
Done.
Can you please just make sure everybody has A and I, because some people just took just one.
Okay. All right. I need everybody's attention here, please. You need a map, and you need 2 sets of photos. One that goes from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or E, F, and then one that starts at I. So you need 2 pages and a pen. So you need 2 pages of photos and 1 map. And make sure you've got the corner of your first photo sheet starts at A, and the left top corner of your second photo sheet starts at I. You need all 3 of those. And then obviously you need a pen to be able to mark on the map where the different things are as you see them on the video. All right. And then courtesy of the backup storage guys that played their video earlier, the winner, who's going to be me, of this navigational exercise wins a tailor-made driver. Hey? Hey? How cool is that? It's an M6. Hey? Yeah, thank you, JJ. That's also courtesy of JJ and his connections. So it helps to be connected, and this will help you drive better in your navigation. All right, enough of the cheesy jokes. Ethan. The one who gets the best map thingy, the one we decide, gets the driver. Yeah. This is the winner. So you'll get your eyes on the prize, everybody. Okay, make sure you got a map and 2 photo sheets. Thank you. I'm going to hand back over to Taryn, and she's going to brief and do the rest of this. Thank you.
Not yet. Okay. Have you all got yourself a team? Give yourself a name. Write it on the map, because you're going to have to give the maps back just now. Okay. And on the map, you'll see airspan and a start and finish. Okay, we're flying in an anti-clockwise direction. Okay, have you got it? I'm going to press play, and I'm going to give you guys a freebie. I'm going to show you the first photo. Okay, are you ready? Do you see it? And get a little bit closer. Do you see echo, E? There it is. Okay, do you know where you are on the map? Yeah, so you need to write it on the map. Right, draw a line and put E for echo. Okay. No.
Where did they start from? Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, hello. Okay, so everybody started in the blue block If you can see the blue block, that's where the takeoff is from. Okay. And now we're traveling in an anti-clockwise direction.
You need a pen.
Okay.
These pens. Dad, can you give some pens?
Okay. All right.
I need some pens over there.
Do you need pens?
Yeah.
Pens. Pens. Okay. Good question.
My dad's taking some pens.
If anyone's got spare pens,
There's
they
some
need them
pens
in the back.
with my dad, if anybody needs a pen.
Hold on.
Yeah.
They've got pens. Great. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that was the first one. We got the first two little dams, and that is Echo on the map, and we're going in an anti-clockwise direction along the bottom. Now, keep track of where you are, and we're going to carry on.
The clue is look for the roads that we're going to cross. Roads, rivers. Those little black squares are buildings. So sometimes it's one and sometimes it's a whole bunch, but they're normally farmhouses. Those are the big things we're looking out for. Okay. Okay. See the big road? Okay, we're coming up to the first turn point. So the next thing to look out for on the map is that black line is a railway. So if you were temporarily unsure of your location, we just passed turn point 2. Ooh, what's happening now? Oh, TV on that side. Okay. Let the mouse go. Here we go. So these towns are new, they might not be on your map. Okay, this is the last leg. Who's lost? You all know where you are. back at airspan. Great. Did you all see all of them? The more you see, the better. Oh. So, don't forget to write your team's name and maybe your names on your map, and then you'll hand them all in, and then we'll mark them, and we'll see who saw the most photos, but not just who saw them, who marked them in the right place. So in a rally, if you mark it in the wrong place, you still get penalty points.
Cool.
I still have...
We'll chat.
Denmark. Okay. JJ's going to come collect your maps, so look out for him over there. So this is part of the training that Ian and I do for the World Championships. We practice here, we fly, and we practice our timing. We set ourselves photo routes like this to practice spotting photos. And we fly in Microsoft Flight Simulator as well. So we can fly in the area we're going to fly in and get an idea what it looks like. I'm nearly done. I've just, like David said, another 2 hours. I'm kidding. So I have to thank David for this very dramatic title of my presentation. We've been watching too much Netflix. It sounds like, yeah. If you've been watching too much Netflix, it sounds like I was a drug addict and flying saved my life. That's not what that means. So the reason I'm talking to you about this is because I had an engine failure in October last year in my Jabiru. And so I just thought I would come and share the experience with you and why I think that doing the competition flying and the spot landings and the rally flying really made a big difference. If you haven't spotted the photos yet, you're too late. So I took my plane in for its 100-hour annual service to where it gets maintained in Springs. Is that, yeah, okay, good. And when I went to collect it, I'd actually had the spot landing competition that weekend. So I had collected it, I was just collecting it in time. I was going to fly to Brit so I could practice a few spot landings, and then it would be the spot landing competition the next day. I started up, did my pre-flight, everything looked fine, started the plane up, and my engine management system kept turning on and off. So I shut down. I said, I don't want to fly after an annual service without my engine management system because I can't see my temperatures and pressures and all this important information. Maybe on a normal flight it might be okay, it wouldn't really be, but after maintenance is very important. So I stopped, we took the panel off, we had a look, we problem solved, we turned back on, everything was working fine. So I took off out of Springs. Everything seemed normal. She was flying very happily, normal temperatures, normal pressures, everything was hunky-dory. And then I got a massive, massive vibration. It was major, noticeable, and noisy. And I thought, like, I have no idea what that can be. Did somebody forget something under the cowl? Like, is something wrong? I don't know. What do I do? The immediate thought was, there's a town in front of me. But Petite is ahead. It's not far ahead. Do I continue to Petite? Or do I turn around and go back to Springs? So my first thought was, let me turn around and go back to Springs. In my turn, if everything seems fine, I'll continue. If it's not, then I'm going to do a precautionary landing. There's a field right next to me. As I turned, the engine stopped, dead with a violent bang. It was not a nice stop, it was a noticeable stop. So I was then committed. So this is my flight path. I have a Garmin watch, just a normal, not a fancy D2, but every time I fly, I track an activity. And so you can see here on here, I took off out of Springs, here, and just as I crossed the N2, there is where the vibration started. This is the field that I landed in. I was very lucky that while my skills helped a lot, I was also in the right place at the right time. And I'll show you that in a second. So normally this field is full of mealies, but at this time it had been plowed and it had been standing for a while, so it was hard. And it was right next to me. So because I had the watch on, I can see all of this information and I can analyze it now that I've landed. And I can see immediately where the engine stopped over there, the vibration started. I was at 6,500 foot at the time. And I had been in the air for 5 minutes and 10 seconds. The engine stopped not very long after that, 5 minutes and 45 seconds. That's 35 seconds later. I didn't notice at the time, but obviously I wasn't already not making full engine power because I already lost 300 foot in that short space. But you can see that the moment that engine started the vibration, I already started my turn away from that town because I thought the best course of action is not to continue flying over this town. Once the engine stopped, I had in my head planned to do a precautionary landing in this field. So my plan was to fly along the field, look at how it looked, and then land. But when the engine stopped, I was still headed for it when I realized if I continue, I'm not going to make this field. I now need to turn, adjust to that field, and now I'm set up like I'm on a downwind in a spot landing competition. The engine is stopped. Don't turn too early, don't panic, don't do anything unusual. Set yourself up on your downwind, turn when you're ready, and continue to fly the plane. I touched down at 7 minutes into the flight. So that it's a very, very short space of time that everything happens. You don't have a lot of time to think about what you're going to do, where you're going to go, a lot of options. But anyway, and I can see from where the field is as well that I came to a stop in 150 meters, which is, if anybody has flown a Jabiru, very short. I also found out after the time, most people think that you want to land in a field with the furrows. But when I spoke to Jeff Earl in all of his flying training in the, what do you call it? Yes, in the Air Force, thank you. They were taught to land against the furrows because they help to slow you down. So I could also see, I was just over 1,000 foot at the time when it happened. So it was exactly like a spot landing competition. You're on your downwind. I was fortunate. I was at 1,000 foot. It could have been lower. It could have been on takeoff. And you can see just how quickly things happened. And I touched down at just under 60 knots in the field. And the main reason I can see on where the engine stopped, is where my heart rate spiked. So it was like 100, it went up to 113 when the vibration started, and it immediately jumped up to 160 or so. And then it stayed there for the rest of the day. So when I had a closer look at this as well, I went and I had a look, how far did I fly once that vibration started? And I glided 4.5 kilometers. So if I put a 4.5 kilometer radius on the map, how far would I have gone if I had gone in a different direction? And if I had gone for petite, I definitely wouldn't have made it. I think it would be quite an ugly situation trying to find a spot to land in that township. There also weren't very many options on this side either. Those are all small holdings. So lots of fences and buildings there as well. So the only real damage that I had in the landing was I hit a rock on the final approach with my rim, so I damaged the rim, and that was that. That's the rock, and you can actually the only one. I'm a geologist. Yeah, I took it home with me. Yeah, it's not very clear in this picture, but you can actually in the picture see my main gear is about here, and you can see I just clipped that rock, but you can see how far it got thrown just by me clipping it. And I remember as I touched down, I saw it, and I thought to myself, "Don't hit the rock." and then I did. I also there were two ladies walking on the field. You can't really see it. There's a little path there. They were about there when I flew over their heads. And I landed and I got out and I thought, well, someone will come and help me. They did not. They just carried on going like this is normal. It happens every day. These crazy white people, what are they doing? I also did, just on my base, I did a Mayday call. And somebody did respond, and they asked me where I am. And I had a massive brain fart. I fly over this township all the time. They asked me, "Where are you?" And I said, "I don't know." I'm north of Springs. I just crossed the highway, but I don't know what the name of that town is. Davyton, yeah. I won't forget that in a hurry. So that's Davyton, if you're wondering. So there's no other obvious signs of damage. Nothing else looked wrong. There's no oil leaking out. I still had fuel. There was oil in the engine. The only sign that something was wrong was that the prop seized solid. Anyway, so that was where I landed, in a field with the rock. Yeah, I then something very, very important that I realized was the first person I phoned was my dad. He had just dropped me off at Springs. He was rather surprised to hear from me like less than 10 minutes after I took off. But what I realized then is I probably stood around for another 10 minutes. Firstly, you don't know how to tell someone how to get where you are because you didn't drive there. But you need to have the number for CAA and search and rescue handy, not like stored in your phone somewhere, like handy, like printed on your dashboard or something, so you can phone them, because you're kind of like a bit stunned, standing in the field, like, what now? I only thought about it 10 minutes later. Okay, I did a Mayday call. I better phone search and rescue and tell them that I'm fine, since the only information they have is they don't know where I am. So they were really, really good. They communicated with me. They made sure I was okay. They sent an ambulance. The government and private ambulances arrived within 20 minutes. The fire department and the police, on the other hand, took 4 and 5 hours respectively. So I wouldn't wait for them. In fact, by the time the police arrived, we already had the plane loaded up and we were leaving. So some of the lessons that I've learned here, or the things that I think about, is that when you're doing your training and you're doing your simulated engine failures, you practice them at altitude. You have lots of time to think about a field, to turn, to say, ooh, we're not going to make it, so let's go around. You never actually land. Not executing that landing and not knowing your aircraft and how it performs in a glide means that you could land in a fence. You could miss the field that you're aiming for. Or you could stall and spin because you're trying to stretch the glide because you're not landing where you thought you were going to land. So practicing landing on a runway is really, really valuable and useful. In a spot landing competition, you follow through and you land. And more than that, you're trying to land where you want to land, not just on the runway. You're trying to land on a 2-meter line or in a 50-meter box. And you're doing that in different configurations as well. Landing with flaps, without flaps, with one flaps, in all sorts of different configurations. Because you've practiced this multiple times, it becomes second nature. There's less startle factor. You don't need to say, ooh, what now? Like, ooh, what's step 1? Make sure I have speed. Don't suddenly speed up or slow down or turn. You know how far your aircraft will glide because you've practiced it. You know not just how far you'll glide in a straight line, but how much does your descent rate increase when you start to turn. And it does. You also know what to do with and without flaps. I thought about the flaps briefly once the engine stopped, and that was the last time I thought about them. When I landed, I realized, oh, maybe I should have used the flaps. Also, you know how fast everything happens. You know how much time you have. Do you need to continue as if you're on a downwind? Because if you turn too short, you might still miss the field. Or do you need to turn now in order to make it? So this is not a practice route. This is what they found when they took the engine apart. So you can see in there just shrapnel in the oil sump. That's what's left of my pistons. And you can see that it was not a valve failure. So it's very difficult to really say for sure what happened, but it looked like a piston failed. And it failed, I had about 800 hours on that engine, so well short of its overhaul time. But we're still here, and we're still flying. I was really, really fortunate that through the the community that I've built, flying competitions, meeting all of these people, doing these kinds of things, I was able to continue flying after that happened. I was able to fly a friend's plane, so it wasn't 4 months until I got back in the air. It does mess with your mind a lot. So if something like that happens, it doesn't need to be that major. Talk to people. It might not have happened to them, it might have happened to them. But the more you talk about it, the more you work through it in your mind and you become comfortable with what you did, what lessons you can learn, what you can do better next time. And not just for yourself, for them as well. You know, most people that you speak to haven't gone through this. They can learn something from it. So speak to people. If they let you get back in the air immediately, take the opportunity. Okay. So I'm just gonna finish off with, saying that for me, competition flying, while it feels really, really intimidating, it really expanded my horizons as a pilot. It takes you to different places. As a PPL, I landed at over 50 airfields, and 3 of those are in France. 2 of those are an away landing, so the first time I ever landed there was the first time I ever saw that airfield. It also helps you to really get to know your aircraft. You fly your aircraft fast, you fly it slow, you fly it in wind. You know how fast does your aircraft speed up and slow down. A Jabiru is different to a Cessna. A Cessna will slow down very readily, but it won't speed up. A Jabiru, you stick the nose down and she'll speed up. You get to know how does your plane react, how fast does it react. You practice steep turns, you get close to the stall, you know where the limit is. What is the performance like on a hot versus a cold day? And you practice landings in all different configurations and in all new places. Something that's also very important that doesn't happen a lot in GA is cockpit management. Because you're flying with a navigator, or the navigator is flying with a pilot, you're flying with a lot of different people. And I think it's an excellent way to learn. Fly with other pilots, fly with other non-pilots. You never know the things that they pick up, the things that you can learn from other people. And not just that, how do you communicate with them? It sounds very easy. You'll see in your navigation exercise how quickly you miscommunicate where you are, where you're going, or what you've seen. So you learn how to communicate, not just with one person, but with multiple people. And how to delegate responsibilities. Who is doing what? Who is navigating? Who is, if you're not sure where you are, going to make the call if you disagree? Who's looking for the photos? Are you both looking for the photos? What is your focus? Every single person. So you really learn your crew management, cockpit management. And you learn to deal with multiple stressful situations until they become not stressful. Flying with multiple aircraft, all of different speeds. In a speed rally, you might be flying with everything from a Cirrus to a Bathhawk. So they're doing from double your speed to half your speed. And you're flying next to each other. You're flying in a circuit. You're going to land next to each other or after each other. How do you space yourselves? How do you communicate without blocking the frequency? Also important, you learn how to recover if you get lost or temporarily unsure of your location. It happens a lot in rally flying, especially if you really, really focus on where you are, and then suddenly you're not sure, and you look up and you recognize nothing. What do? Do you climb, look for a dam or a mountain or something? Do you turn? Do you carry on in a straight line? You get to practice that. What do you do if you're lost? And dealing with in-flight situations like your radio failure, a flaps failure, or even an engine failure. And finally, and I think the most important, you learn your and your aircraft limits, and they're not the same. So your aircraft might be rated to fly in a 20-knot crosswind, but that doesn't mean that you're comfortable doing that. You can slowly build up to where you know your limit and what you're comfortable with, and when you say, okay, I'm not comfortable with this anymore. You learn when to fly in turbulence, to fly over mountains. I flew to Stellenbosch for the first time. I was terrified. It was a non-event. You learn to do, what do you do if you encounter rain or bad weather on the way? Do you turn back? Do you land somewhere, And what is comfortable, what is safe, and when do you say no? It's really, really hard sometimes to say no. I've flown to a PTAR event, and after the event, 40 aircraft all got in their planes and left. The weather was iffy. All 40 of those planes said, it will be fine. It will be okay. And I said, I'm not comfortable. I'm going to stay here. And we stayed in a guest house, and we went home the next day. We had a lovely, unexpected, relaxing night in Bloemfontein. And nobody says to you the next day, you know what, you're a big baby, you should have flown. They came back and they said, you know what, I think you were right. We shouldn't have flown. Now you've taught yourself and other people that it's okay to say no when you're not comfortable. And most importantly, you expand your horizons and you continuously learn as a pilot.
Hello.
It's got mics everywhere. I think that was outstanding. All right. Exactly. We have prizes, people. And we're gonna be marking the navigational exercises very shortly, and we will have the winner of that. But I think what we're going to do in the meantime is start drawing prizes for all of the people that are going to be lucky winners. So here we go. Starting from the first voucher that we have is courtesy of Century Avionics. Thank you very much. And it is worth 5,000 rand. All right. And I'm making it a tradition. Excuse me. Just want to dress. I'm making it a tradition that the first person who registers for my safety symposiums wins a very significant prize. And the first person who registered for this event is none other than Miss Herholt over there. Come and grab your prize. So, Miss Herholt wins, a 5,000 Rand voucher from Century Avionics, which she can spend at their in-person shop or on their online shop on anything she wants.
Thank you.
Nice. Well done. All right. Courtesy of Century Avionics, we have a 5% discount on your next purchase from Century Avionics. Now, I know they've got some expensive kit there, so this 5% could really mean a lot to somebody. And I'm going to draw this name. Who wants to draw? Do you want to draw a name? Draw a name, Annalise, please. Here we go. Da, 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 da. There we go. I'm going to read it. It is none other than Jessica Selassie. Hey-o! Well done, Jessica. a picture. So we're going to do one here. And over there. And over there. There we go. Well done, and thank you. Good job. All right. Who wants to draw the next prize? I think JJ, you get to know. Yeah, JJ gets one. The next prize is yet another. No, this one is going to be for a helicopter simulation or simulator voucher, courtesy of Henley Air. Thank you very much, Andre and Linnell, for sponsoring this. This is worth 4,800 Rand. Really, absolutely smashing. And it's valid for an entire year. So please come and get in touch. Whoever you are, the winner is. Yeah, JJ's just writing his name on there. That's really audited. Oh my gosh, Talon Aleph. Woo-hoo. Sorry, just trying to give me that.
Oh,
There we go.
Thanks.
Okay, lots of photos.
Cool.
There we go, one there.
Where? Thank you.
There we go.
Thanks,
Well
Dave.
done. Nice one. And since Talon won that, he was actually also a sponsor tonight, and he's giving away a 1,000 Rand voucher to one lucky winner, and that is going to be able to be spent on any one of his awesome bits of merch that he's got over there from Wing Culture. And I'm somewhere going to draw that name because I'm so jealous of who this person is. CJ Kutsia. Where is he? Is he coming up? Are you CJ Kutsia? Are you going to get it for him? Okay, cool. This is CJ Kutsia's proxy. Over there. Love it. Love it. Nice, well done. Okay, tell CJ he needs to get in touch with Talon. I'm going to let you guys sort that out. Okay. All right. Philippa, please draw the next prize. And this prize is for a tailored pilot shirt by Sky Candy. Sky Candy, an amazing supporter of us all this time, and that's another business started by a pilot as a side hustle, and she started this business as a result or out of the need for shirts that don't fit properly. Pilot shirts always baggy over here or not long enough or whatever it is. She will make this shirt completely tailored to your specific needs, and it's very comfortable and super durable and beautiful. And so I thought, what a good idea, but to like actually have one made for myself, even though I'm not really a pilot. So, and she said, just measure yourself up and send it in. So obviously, I was very optimistic about my waist, and I was super optimistic about the guns. Completely got them wrong. I didn't even know, even objective information can become wrong. But anyway, here we are. Who wins a tailored shirt? We have one for ladies and one for men. So hopefully this goes to Dimpo Koza. Dimpo, you look more like a Clinton to me. Say? You have 3 names?
Yeah.
Okay, Dimpo has 3 names and Clinton is also one of them. So here we go. This is the men's one. We're going to go here, then here, then here, then here. Okay, there we go. Over there, over there. Smile, Dimpo. Here we go. For your tailored pilot shirt. All right, congratulations. Nice. All right, we have one more voucher. We've got another tailored shirt from Sky Candy. This one, it has to go to a girl, or a lady, a female. So we're going to draw until we get a female's name. Okay. All right. Who wants to draw? Shane. Yeah. There we go. Hopefully it's a... I don't think that's a girl. We're going to put your name back into the thing. Don't worry if it's not a girl. See, now this could also be a girl. Mpo Daka. Girl or a boy? God, are we putting you back? Sorry. But I also know Mpo could be a girl. Okay, Neo Moyana. Okay, you guys are going back in the thing. Neo, Neo, Neo. Neo, Neo, Neo. There we go. Congratulations over there. Show the voucher to the camera. This way around. Oh, yeah, that's a good way. That's a good way. Okay. Excellent. Well done, Neo. Enjoy the shirt. It's really super comfortable. And then we are giving away a prize. Oh, yes, we are. Courtesy of Pilots and Planes Shop. There's a branch here, and there's going to be a new branch at Grand Central very soon, and there's one that's been at Wonderboom for a while. They are giving away this amazing bomber jacket, courtesy of Alpha Industries, but from Pilots and Planes. Maria Lutzis, you're an absolute star for sponsoring that prize. Thank you very much, and we are going to draw this name. Quentin, why don't you give it a good old tug there? Let's hear it, let's hear it, let's hear it. We have, Junior Tobohe. Junior? Oh. Is that him? A win's a win. Here we go. Come on, Junior. Well done, Junior. Junior, 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 Junior. Now, if that doesn't inspire you to become a pilot one day, then nothing will. Nice. All right. And then we've got a hamper sponsored by Personal Systems. And we're going to get the first lady of Personal Systems to please draw that name. That's good old Rachel. I mean, good young Rachel. Thank you very much. And that name is Tiamo Se Hlotu. Come and grab it. Can we get the hamper from over there? Your hamper is on its way. Thank you very much. Can we wait till we get the hamper just for the photos? Congratulations. This is a hamper full of awesome goodies like biltong, wine, Pringles. You can really have a good time there. There we go. Congratulations. All right, and our second last prize, I think, let me just make sure. Oh, no, that's not the one. Anyway, our second last prize is yet another 5,000 Rand voucher courtesy of Century Avionics. They really went all out to bring value to the new and up-and-coming aviation community here. So we'd like to draw this number. Craig Dean doesn't win, but it's Mpo Daka. And both of those numbers were put back and shuffled like this, so that was a real win. Mpo, come and get it, bro. Congratulations. Well done, Ruth. Very nice. Oh. Yeah?
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's not over. If you haven't managed to win anything, there's 10 prizes hidden away. Put your hand under your seat and feel around if you feel a little sticker there with a number on it. And if you've got a number, bring it to the front, you've won a prize. There we go. That's it. Come up to the front. There we go. Bring it up. Just a bit of something to help you when you're busy working on your computer. It's something that helps you when you work on the computer. Put it under your keyboard, and then you'll see there's all kinds of fancy little shortcuts.
Keep coming. Sure, how's that? Nice one, JJ.
There should be 10.
Stay around, stick around, come, let's do a big group photo.
Try to get them to line up in front.
Come line up more closer.
Come up closer, we can't fit into the photo. Come closer, come closer. There we go, photos in front of you. Everyone shout, personal systems.
Personal systems! Yay! Yay! Nice one.
Cool.
Excellent. These are absolutely incredible mouse pads that go under your keyboard, make working at a desk much more comfortable. I definitely use mine all the time. Thank you very much, JJ. And that brings us to the end of the lucky prize draw. Now comes the skill prize. And I'm going to let Taryn take it away.
Okay. How does everybody think they did? Who got 12 out of 12? I have bad news for you. Nobody got 12. Nobody got 12. The winner got 9. They would have done better, but 2 of them were quite far away. They found them, but quite far away from where they were. So they the winners by far. We've got just behind them one team got 8. We've got one team that got 7, and they got 2 that were a bit far away. And then a whole bunch of 7s, and then a whole bunch worse than that. The good news is that everybody saw at least 2 photos. So congratulations, you all saw 2 photos, well done. So the team that saw 9 and 2 halves is Team Juju. Congratulations.
Nice one, Taryn. Thank you very much. And I don't know how you guys are going to split up one amazing driver amongst the whole team, but yeah, maybe you can give it to the best golfer in the team. Come and grab your prize. The whole team can come up. Come on, Team Doo-Doo. Did we come second? Not bad. There we go, because you had me on your team, clearly. Nice. Yeah. Nice one, Monty. Thank you. Well done, team. Doo-Doo. Well done, well done, well done. I have to present one prize to all 6 of you, unfortunately. So here we go. Yeah. There we go. And that's courtesy of Personal Systems and the storage system that they were advertising earlier. What is the storage system called? It's called Store Vault. Thank you very much. Well done, gentlemen. Woo! Nice. Okay. All right, and we are going to start wrapping up, and so I thank everybody for their time and their commitment, and all of our sponsors for their contribution. I'd just like to run through them all here today. We've got SAPFA, who Taryn represents. They sponsored a nice contribution. Central Flying Academy, thank you very much for your contribution towards this. I must also say that Central Flying Academy, this is their 3rd safety symposium that they've all been at, and they've always got a huge contingent of people. So Adna, you and your team, absolutely amazing. Thank you. Big round of applause to them. Flying Socks, Young Aviators, Pilots and Planes, Alpha Industries, Sky Candy, Pilot Insure, Personal Systems, Captain Circle, Century Avionics, Henley Air, the Aviation Wealth Club, Safety First Aviator, and the Aero Club of South Africa. Khwetse, thank you to you and your team. Thank you. And Jetstream. Oh, Jetstream. Yeah, Jetstream, thank you very much for that. And we are going to be sending one lucky person a Jetstream voucher in the email. So everybody here is going to get a wrap-up email. But one of you is going to get the Jetstream voucher. So read your emails, especially from me. Okay. All right. Thank you very much to all of you. If I have missed you, I don't mean to. You're just as important as all of the others. And then I'd just like to say thank you very much to my speakers. JJ, please come up and grab this amazing gift, which seems paled in comparison. There we go. Thank you very much for everything you've done, JJ. Let's do a photo. Stay right there. And then I'd like to say thank you to Keegan for his awesome contribution. Keegan, you get chocolates and a mouse pad, no socks. JJ got socks and chocolate. Stick around, stick around, stick around. And then, of course, I would like to say thank you to Taryn Myberg for her awesome speech and amazing activity here tonight. You get a mouse pad, chocolates, and a pair of socks. There we go. Okay, stand here, please, for me. You get extra chocolate. All right, these are my speakers, and I really appreciate all the work that they've done, and I know they've have to step out of their comfort zones to come and talk to you guys. This is my comfort zone, so I know how difficult it is. So here we have growth and stretching of awesome people, and just showing you that it's possible. So thank you to all my people. Okay. All right. And I think that's time. Hey, everybody. So I would like you all to please drive home safe. If you've been drinking, please Uber. And if you're not, or have a designated driver. But I think that wraps it up. If you have any questions, email me. But you'll be hearing from me soon. And I love you all.